Hey, Sarah.
How's it going?
All right, how are you?
Good.
So your office at the electric co-op?
Yeah, I'm at work hiding. And I think my kids are better at Zoom meetings than I am.
Yeah. My kid's only 3, but I'm sure at some point soon he'll surpass me.
I didn't think my kids would be better than me, but now I have a kindergartner and a second grader, and with everything that's been going on.
Yeah, we've had a lot of practice with Zoom the last year and a half.
Yeah.
2 years, yeah. Can you hear us all right, Dan? I'm going to text Laurel. Oh, there. Hi, Laurel.
There we go.
Hi. Sorry, I just texted you.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Don't mind me.
That was good. I often need, it's been a little crazy around here.
Yeah, no kidding.
Home.
So I am expecting Melissa to join us. I think she was going to be in Helena today.
Oh.
But let's give her a couple minutes.
Oh, I think I'm on twice here. There we go. Yeah. I didn't read all those minutes, I confess.
Yeah, I skimmed through them, but
I don't know that we made any very controversial calls, so I think we're okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so we need to quorum. Oh, Lisa's not here yet.
No.
Okay. So I see Dan is here.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, can you hear us?
Here's Melissa. Melissa's probably non-voting, huh? I don't know. Mel used to vote.
Yeah, I think the commissioners are considered non-voting members. Yeah, and Lisa's term ended in December. I asked her again if she was going to reapply. Hey, Melissa.
Hey guys, I don't have stable Wi-Fi, so I am going to stay off video.
Okay.
But I missed the first part of what you said. I think I'm a non-voting member. Is that right?
I think that's how the commissioners, yeah.
Mixed. Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay with me. I'm still happy to be here. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Dan, it looks like you're on mute. Which obviously you know that because that's why you put it in the chat. So can you hear us?
Okay.
Okay. Good.
Hi, Erica. Okay.
So what, let's see, 1, 2, 3.
She hopped off.
So
Yeah,
we
so
vote with,
I think we can go ahead and get started. Hey, Erica.
Oh, hey. Good. I couldn't hear anything at first, so I changed my position.
Are you in Hawaii or something?
No, we're in Arizona.
Arizona. Okay, cool. Well, let's get this show on the road. So, yeah, welcome to Melissa, our new commissioner on the board, and to Dan, the new parks foreman. So, yeah, Lisa's term ended in December, and I've not. She was grateful enough to send us the minutes, so we can move to those next. But I think we've got a quorum for today because we have 3 members out of our 5. So
good.
So cool. Yeah, I just skimmed through the minutes and they looked okay to me. So I would make a motion to approve the minutes that Lisa provided and that I sent out with the agenda for the past months.
I will second that.
All right, this is Marshall voting yes.
Do you need me to take notes, Marshall, before we go much further?
Oh, there's Lisa. Okay.
Oh.
Hi, Lisa. Yeah, I think Laurel, if you want to take notes, that'd be great.
Got it.
Hi.
Aye.
Hi.
Okay. Lisa, you do know that your term ended in December.
Pardon?
You do know that your term ended in December.
Yes, thanks for that. I filled out an application yesterday, but didn't get it emailed in. So yes, I'm hoping to renew my membership.
Okay, sounds good.
And I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you and to Faith.
Sounds good. We can consider your votes of confidence.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So sorry, Sarah, I missed your vote, or I didn't hear.
Yes, I approve.
Okay, cool. So approved our minutes. All right, cool. So on our matter of old business here, I invited Erica back to give us just another quick update on where they're at with the PCEC tree planting program, because we've got Melissa on our board now and it's getting close to actually rolling out in the spring. And Erica sent me like a kind of like a draft press release to consider. So I thought I'd bring this back to the board just to sort of touch base. So yeah, Erica, could you just talk a little bit about what's happening?
I can. Thanks. And if it's unstable, I'll have to pop the So the fund and adopt a tree program have been kicked off. The fund is growing pretty steadily. We're around $10,000 right now, and we think we'll be around $15,000 by the time we're planting in the spring. Mm-hmm. So we also launched an adopt a tree program that we sent out through our email list and some social media, and so we've got a lot of people signing up for a free tree, and these are folks that agree to their Livingston residents, and these would be boulevard trees, and they're agreeing to a watering schedule provided by the tree board. And so we've already have about 45 people that have signed up for a tree.
Oh no.
Are these homeowners? You have to be a property owner?
I'm not sure.
Oh, she just disappeared. Okay. Well, we can't plant on non-property owners without permission from the landlord, supposedly, probably, so. Okay.
Oh, shoot. I skip out for minutes.
Yeah, could you try just with audio and not video?
Yes, I'm gonna take myself off. I don't know how far back I skipped out.
45 signed up so far.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, great. So yeah, we're still in the process of, we're looking at those addresses, trying to make sure we distribute those trees throughout town, talking to local nurseries. We're going to source all the trees from local nurseries as opposed to putting in a big order ourselves. It just allowed us a little more flexibility because we kind of figured.
Oh.
I'm sorry, guys. So yeah, bottom line is loved any feedback you all have on the process so far. And we just put in an application for AmeriCorps volunteers for next May to help with planting the trees. And if we can coordinate any of our efforts with Arbor Day or other city tree planting efforts, would love to do that. Yeah, and any advice or feedback you guys have on the process so far would be totally open to that. Love to hear.
Yeah, I guess, sorry if you went over this last meeting, but I guess my main question is whether how city staff is involved at all, and how you guys are handling the permitting. Like, are the homeowners submitting the permits themselves, and who's planting the trees besides AmeriCorps volunteers?
Yeah, so talk to Shannon for and sounds like we all get and have the city at that point, or the have to do it in 2 weeks of planting.
Sorry, I'm not like really getting anything you're saying.
Are you going to be here for a while?
Yeah, I just have to show you.
Oh no. All right.
I'm in a meeting.
Okay.
Well,
I'll get to you later.
Okay.
You're just going to be like.
I apologize.
Yeah, I don't think we got any of that.
Can I try to call in a minute, and maybe you can move on to something else in your agenda, and I'll try that instead.
Okay,
I
sure.
apologize.
Cool. So yeah, I guess one of the main reasons I wanted to do this update at this point was just to get you in the loop, Melissa. And I confess I've been kind of confused over the last few meetings about whether or how the tree board should be involved in this. So basically, they've just been working directly with Shannon and making progress. So I haven't really, and Erica's just been kind of keeping us in the loop. But I guess, do you have any sense of like whether there'd be a role for the board or the commission with this?
I mean, not having all the background that you have, I think first I'd want to ask, are you all interested, and is PCEC interested in working with the tree board on some sort of a joint event, or I don't know what your vision is, or PCEC's vision for the tree plantings. But I think, you know, the city does work with nonprofits and has worked with nonprofits in the past. So it doesn't seem unreasonable to see what that path forward would look like if that's something the board's interested in. And we could certainly talk to the city manager and get that input as well to see what that looks like on the staff side.
Okay. Erica, are you back?
I'm back. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, I don't think we really caught anything about just the logistics of the tree planting and the permitting.
Great, thank you. Sorry about that. And I'm just confirming you can hear me. I can't see your faces anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so it sounds like we can work with the city on doing a sort of bulk application process. So all the tree plantings that have different addresses around town, so that we can do that in sort of a coordinated way to make it more efficient. So still probably some logistics to figure out there, but Shannon seemed open to that and thought that was a good path forward. And remind me, Marshall, of your other question.
Oh, I guess I'm curious whether staff is going to be involved in planting the trees potentially, or if it's mainly going to be the AmeriCorps volunteers or other volunteers.
Yeah, so we have, when we initially sat down with Shannon, it was our feedback from him was that if we could coordinate the planting in association with an Arbor Day event or another time when the city could mobilize it, great, but we shouldn't necessarily count on that. So we contacted Tyler Aberman, who does a lot of tree planting around town, and are working with him on, he would be essentially like a project coordinator in helping volunteers get lined out and help with some planting as well. And Shields Valley Nursery is also been willing to commit equipment and help. So I think we have the ability, I guess, to do the planting on our own, and we're planning to kind of move forward with that assumption. However, if we can coordinate with some of the city and make it kind of a win-win for, a good Arbor Day event or something in relation to the tree board, we would love to do that. So, but we're planning to have it be able to do it on our own, just in case that doesn't work out.
Mm-hmm. All right. Great. Thank you. So, yeah, I guess my initial, I see your hand up, Melissa.
Thanks, Marshall. I think that'd be great if there's a way to partner, and I would be happy, Marshall, with you as the chair to help set up a meeting so that we or you could talk to the city manager and see what that looks like on the staff side, if that's possible. I think that's the appropriate route if staff are involved, is to go through the city manager. So I just want to make sure that we follow that protocol.
Okay. So I'm hearing from Erica that currently the preferred route forward for them does not involve city staff at all. Is that right, Erica?
It's not preferred. We were kind of instructed to figure out planting on our own in the case that we couldn't coordinate with the city. So okay. I think we're just operating on that assumption, but our preference would be that we could do it in coordination with the city. And when I popped back on the call, I heard Melissa sort of alluding to this. It really benefits us long-term as PCEC to try to figure out how we can have good working relationships with the boards and the city so that we can, continue to partner on projects and raise money and help city efforts, and help amplify city efforts. So, I'm sorry if this is clunky and awkward, but we're trying to figure out the best way to be good partners and if it means we have a backup plan, then we can do that. But our preference would be to, use city staff and resources to the extent that they're able to provide them.
Okay. That's awesome, Erica. Those are conversations that we've had too, is that to reach our goals as a city, we really need to work together with the community and find ways to partner. So I know that it's a few more steps and a few more meetings to make sure we're going through the right process, but I think it's the right thing to do. Public Works tends to be the historically understaffed department. So I don't want to make promises that we can't keep, and the appropriate thing to do would be to talk to the city manager, and I'm sure that he'll be open to that conversation. I'm sure that he'll be open to meeting. He always is. So we can, you know, maybe Marshall, if I can help you set up that meeting since you're the chair and get some of those questions answered about the path forward before the next tree board meeting. Maybe there'll be some more information by the next meeting, if that works for you all.
Yeah, do you have something to add, Laurel?
I do. I think the tree board is obviously 100% supportive, and we're not the advertisers. We're not collecting the money. We're not the ones choosing where the trees go. We're not the ones buying the trees, and we're not the ones planting the trees. So I think that it's important that we just be very cautious, not because of any danger, but just so the community is clear who's doing what, because we really have no reason to distrust the process. And at the same time, it's not our process. And so I think we just need to go slow. And I think Dan is on. I think it's true. They've had such a difficult time with staff and keeping up with hazard trees, and been absolutely great at participating and trying to do the best they can. But to add, I mean, planting 45 trees is a very, very big undertaking. And it's a short window, and I think we just need to respect Dan and his crew as well.
All right. Yeah, I think this is all really good conversation to have. So I guess what makes sense to me is to, make a motion to request a meeting with the city manager to explore how Public Works might support the effort with PCEC. So I will make that motion.
I'll second it.
Who seconded that?
Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
All right, this is Marshall voting yes.
I vote
Lisa, yes.
Okay.
Laurel, yes. So Lisa, are you voting? Can you vote?
Oh, if I'm not approved as a member?
I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with you voting.
I filled out the application yesterday. I just didn't get it in yet. So that's okay. Someone else should second. Someone else. That's okay. I'll vote next month.
Yeah. Are you taking notes? Should I stop?
I am taking notes.
Okay, I got the beginning for you. I vote yes.
I vote yes.
Okay, that sounded like all yes votes. So yeah, thanks a lot for your guidance on that, Melissa. So just a little bit of backstory on this, and I think this is shaping up well. So basically we just had community members, like, people want to support trees. So we had people coming to us like, hey, we're going to raise money for the tree board to spend on trees. And then we were sort of like, well, the tree board doesn't, we don't have an account. We don't spend money on trees. The city has a tree fund, but we don't really tell the city what to do with that money. We make policy recommendations for what they should do with it. So that's when, kind of through discussions with PCEC, they came in and agreed to do the fundraising independently, and they set up a really beautiful website and have these collection boxes around town. And then they've just been kind of running with it ever since to put together the program. And I think we've all just been sort of trying to figure out like how the pieces fit together, the board, the city, and a community nonprofit. And so I think that will be really good to just, now that it's reached this point where we can see that there is the public support and the money and the program, essentially, like how can we sort of pull things together. And and in the meantime, we had our strategic plan conversations that put our top priority as like supporting homeowners with boulevard trees. So I guess it shows that we're in line with how everything's going. Does that sound, did I get that right, Erica? Is there anything else?
Well said. Yes. Great context. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for the update. It's really exciting. It's really exciting, these kinds of partnerships. So I'm excited to be on the board and learning about it. Thanks for setting it up so I could hear more.
Can I go back just a minute? I must probably miss this, but Erica, can you tell us again where the follow-up commitment will be with this, with the after the trees are planted, some kind of a contract or something with the homeowners to agree to water the trees?
Right. So in our application on our website, we ask that they commit to a 3-year watering schedule that was recommended in your
Okay.
pamphlet, and the tree board's pamphlet. So that's where it mentions the tree board. I hope that's okay. And yeah, if there's a better way to do that, Jody Litchfield is helping us as well, and she wanted to put together essentially a little planting and watering guide, like a 1-page thing that goes with every tree, and just to make it really as simple and easy. And then part of the service of the AmeriCorps volunteers will not only be planting the trees, but just kind of checking in with homeowners and helping with watering if needed. We want to do some follow-up too, so that's not just here's the tree, here you go, and and peace out. So
Awesome. Great. That sounds good.
Yeah, and then so I didn't include this like draft press release that Erica sent to me, but for us to review. But I guess just offhand in terms of like your publicity with this, like I don't think you need to feel obligated to like mention the tree board or to. I think you guys should just run with it. I mean, it's your program, and if in referencing any tree board stuff, it's just like, you know, you can point to anything that we've already sort of approved. Like we have, you know, this recommended boulevard species list. We had that planting guide that has stuff about watering. We have a strategic plan that has, you know, prioritizes support to homeowners for boulevard trees. So I think you could just, on any of that, I mean, if you, in publicity, if you're feeling like you want to say things that make it look like you are addressing the sort of like stated city need, and instead of just like coming up with this out of the blue, like you can just point to any of that stuff. But I like on your press release, like I don't think you need to put me as a contact, like you had it, or say that like the tree board is providing guidance or whatever. You could just, yeah, I don't know. Don't want to get into the minutia of that, but I think in general, I'm not feeling like, you know, we need to be yeah, sort of like and explicitly like some sort of partner in the program, if that makes sense.
okay, thanks. Yeah, we haven't sent that press release out yet, and in fact, because between emails and a few of our volunteers put doorknob notes on a bunch of homes in town on boulevards that didn't have a lot of trees, and we already have so many people signed up for free trees that we kind of wanted to slow down a little bit. So I'll probably review that press release again, and it might make sense to, you know, put that out there right before the deadline, which is March 1st on signing up to adopt a tree. But yeah, we don't have an immediate plan to put that out there now, because it was already so, the word got out so fast otherwise.
All right, cool. So just nuts and bolts, Melissa, in terms of requesting this meeting, do you want me to just send a email to Michael and CC you or something like that?
Yeah, that would work.
Okay.
And in terms of efficiency, see if it makes sense for PCEC to be there or not when we meet with Michael.
Yeah.
He'll have a thought probably on what would make the most sense efficiency wise. So I'm open to either, whatever works.
Okay.
keep moving it forward. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Thank you for doing that. Thank you for sending that, Marshall.
Yeah. All right, cool. Does anybody see anything else to talk about with this item of business? Or
to ask Erica a quick question.
Sure.
This is Sarah. Hi, sorry. Are you kind of mapping the people that are signing up for the trees to see where those trees would end up in town? Like, are most of them ending up in a certain part of town? That was just a quick question I had.
Yeah, we're just starting to look at that. I think I found an application online where you could basically transfer Excel data onto a map. So we want to do that just to kind of check out our distribution, because right now it is sort of heavily, there's a lot of people on H Street that applied, and there's, it's a little bit concentrated in a few areas, probably especially where they put the door knockers. But yeah, that would be our goal, is to try to get some good distribution around town, and do that in a way that's, equitable to the north and south, and especially and try to focus on areas that really are lacking a lot of trees. Certain streets in town that just seem to be tree deserts. So just starting to look in that process now that we have a bulk of applications. So it wouldn't be such a bad idea to have, twice or three times as many applications as we need, at least the first year, so we can just kind of get a good start and have it be nicely distributed. But we'll have a long waiting list for other people in the future, or maybe we can raise more funding once we figure out how to do this many trees.
Okay, thank you. I think this is a wonderful program, and I'm really excited that you guys have spearheaded it. I think it's going to be a really good improvement for the community.
Agreed. Yes, thank you.
Well, thank you all for your support and your expertise, and yeah, it's really the credit of, as Marshall said, it's passionate volunteers like Susan Regal, who have just been trying to figure out a way to make this happen, and we're slowly figuring it out, I guess.
Cool. Well, so I don't want to keep Erica too long. So if we want to clip along to this Arbor Day planning, which might involve PCC a little bit in our discussion here. So basically the quick backstory on this: after our last meeting, we voted to I believe just alert the city to the Arbor Day grant availability. So I did that. I emailed Michael, and he wrote back and said that they wanted to apply for this grant. And so then was getting requests from Lisa Lowy for information for the grant. And so in responding to her and just trying to make it easy for the city to apply for this, I drafted this recommendation letter, which is similar to what we did last year, where it's just like the info fields for the grant, and sketching out stuff in just general terms that the city can use to apply for the grant if they'd like. And kind of within that process of corresponding with Michael and Lisa, I was a little bit confused in light of the city manager's directive about the board communications of like what the tree board's actual role is in planning an Arbor Day event, because that's that's really like the meat of this grant application, is like, what's the city doing for an Arbor Day event? And in the past, we've kind of just winged it and said, the city's going to plant 2 or 3 trees in a park, and we're going to invite community members. And then last year it got a little more complicated when, we had like Susan Regal coming to us and wanting to organize an actual event with the Educatio school and stuff like that. So when I sent out the agenda, I included that email from the city manager just saying essentially that it's kind of the tree board's role to come up with any Arbor Day event that the city's going to do, and that we have, you know, leeway to reach out to community partners and come up with kind of a proposal for what it would look like. And he explicitly encouraged us to use the event to promote the PCEC program, and then encouraged us to include area schools. So I guess there are kind of two parts to the discussion then that overlap. One is just this recommendation letter. So sort of, you know, what's written here. Does anybody have any anything they want to add or any edits to it? And then the second is sort of, you know, based on this very general description of the event that's in the recommendation letter, how we want to go about actually planning an Arbor Day event, if that's something we want to do. So I guess, yeah, does anybody have anything about this actual recommendation? So, I mean, I kept it very general to try and keep it open for planning. I mean, it's just saying, you know, it's going to be centered around planting 2 to 3 trees in a park or other prominent location owned by the city of Livingston. Planting sites will, blah, 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 blah. At a minimum, the Arbor Day celebration will include members of the public invited with a notice in the local newspaper and over the city's social media channels. To further highlight Arbor Day, the Livingston Tree Board plans to invite local nonprofit Park County Environmental Council to attend and promote their tree planting program. PCEC has raised money for the planting of the Arbor Day trees will provide an opportunity to spread the word to attendees and media about this program. Furthermore, the tree board plans to invite local schools to attend the event. So, yeah, I guess, yeah, that's very general. So, does anybody have any feedback on that?
Yeah, the PCECs, so their deadline will be closed and they won't have started planting yet. So I think it's might be a careful way to promote that, since I doubt the trees will be planted yet. That seems like that's a second Arbor Day event. It might be nice to have 2 within the same week or something, because one is private, one is city, and one is, I mean, the other one is already closed to people that can't apply. So I would just wonder about that. You might get a little more mileage separating them or combining them, but having, you know, they're different. Yeah,
I hadn't thought about it being closed. So the way I was envisioning this was basically kind of how it was last year. Like, you know, we're at a park, the city crew is plopping the 2 or 3 trees in the ground. Some kids from the school might be there, like helping to, you know, scoop shovels of dirt on there and learn about tree planting. And then like maybe PCC, if they wanted to, would have like a table or booth or something, just with information about the tree planting program. But I guess, Erica, what makes sense from your perspective in terms of how you're seeking to promote and like continue to sign people up?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think what you just described there, Marshall, sounds great. We envision this to be an ongoing program, right? Like, so the deadline to receive a tree for this spring's planting will have passed, but our goal is to continue, you know, raising funds for the next year's planting kind of thing. So it's going to be an ongoing effort. And so, yeah, tabling at the event, or, you know, I don't want to steal any thunder or, you know, detract from anything you all in the city is doing, but if we can promote that process in collaboration with you all, that sounds good to me.
So Erica, you have to be a homeowner, right? You have to be the property owner.
Well, you know, that's a really good question. I mean, I think that as long as if you're a renter, I mean, I would like this program to be open to renters as well, right? So if, as long as I guess you have the permission of the property owner to place the tree in the boulevard, that's something that's a really good question that we haven't thought through yet.
I think the permit requires the property owner.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I think the permitting process requires the homeowner's signature, the landowner.
Okay.
I haven't looked at it lately, but yeah.
All right. Well, cool. So it sounds like there's not like a problem with potentially, including PCEC to like be advertising this program that would be like sort of closed for the sign up period for the year or anything. So that's good. So yeah, I guess I'm just looking at the rest of this recommendation. I mean, there's really nothing else of much substance. DNRC wants to give these grants to cities to plant 2 or 3 trees in the park. So I think just keeping it fairly general and open-ended, and we've got our proclamation, our Arbor Day proclamation for this year. So I guess I was thinking of this as just getting kind of the bare information to the city to apply for the grant, and then I'm not sure when we learn when the city got it, but at our next meeting or in March, we would kind of get down more into the details of like some sort of written plan to submit to the city.
Yes, we'll have it on the agenda on Tuesday. Okay.
Thanks.
All right. So I guess I'm going to lay a motion out on the table to approve this recommendation letter for applying for the Arbor Day grant.
This is Sarah. I second it.
All right. This is Marshall voting yes.
This is Sarah voting yes.
Lisa voting yes.
Laurel, did you vote?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, sorry. Sometimes it's hard to hear in here.
It was my mistake.
All right, cool. So I will send this right after this meeting to Lisa so she can, or to Lisa Lowy so she can submit this grant. And
you submitted it last year, right, Marshall?
No, I think last year we essentially did it this way where I kind of like pre-filled out the grant fields in a little more detail than this. And then I sent it to Lisa. I think that's how we did it. Maybe I directly applied. I honestly can't remember.
Okay.
No, last year we sent this essentially, and then the city forgot to apply. And then they had to ask DNRC for money.
Right. Or was Eric still involved last year?
Yeah, Eric was still here. Yeah, so last year we did like the 3 trees at Mars Park on the north side. Yeah. So I guess, assuming we get the grant, what I'm thinking is in a month or 2, we would sort of go through this process again with the city of figuring out like who's going to decide where the trees go. That was always kind of funny the last couple of years, but we can talk about that later. I mean, I think, yeah, we can talk about that later. So I guess the other thing related to this item of business is, just starting to talk about actually planning this event. So I guess personally, I feel like I don't really have a lot of capacity for doing the event planning beyond my stuff as chair. But I think it'd be really cool if somebody wanted to start contacting this, like people at the schools or, you know, whatever. I think it could, I think the Arbor Day in Livingston could evolve to be, you know, a nice little community event. Like I think I wasn't there last year because I was floating the Smith, but the pictures I saw made it look like the kids were having a lot of fun, you know, hanging out, like watching the trees being planted. And so, yeah, I think that I liked Michael's suggestion of involving the schools. And, you know, he's essentially saying that, yeah, that's something the board should do. So,
so I have kids in 2 of the schools, and I'd be happy to reach out to them or reach out to some of the more private entities around town. I'm not sure what age range of kids we want there. So it'd be kind of something we'd have to talk about or think about if we wanted littler kids or older kids or a mix of everything. But I'd be happy to try and reach out and organize.
Sure. Yeah, I think that'd be great.
I think they're going to want to know what location and what time, because it's a transportation issue because it's the middle of the school day.
Yep.
Right. Yeah,
or
so
we do it at 4 o'clock. You can do it at 4. I mean, or 3:30 or something.
Yeah, we could keep talking with Dan. I remember having these discussions with Eric and then Dan Bush last year, like, you know, when is it best for the city crew? And I think it was basically like, you know, starting sort of mid-morning or at the latest midday, so that, you know, because they're like bringing excavators out, or, you know, they got to shovel all the dirt away, just so it shouldn't be at like 3 o'clock or something. Yeah.
And is April 29th the day we're going to do it, or definitely, since that is Arbor Day?
Right. So I guess even that is open. That's a Friday. And yeah, I guess maybe that would be the preferred day because it is Arbor Day, but if we get a strong sense from the schools or from the city for any sort of like constraints, then we could consider moving it.
And one year we did our planting actually at the school, which was nice. We planted 2 trees at, I think, Winan School.
Oh, wow.
So we had the celebration right at the school. So Sarah, maybe if there's a school that would like trees, maybe we could plan an event right at a school.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all the schools probably would.
Yeah. So that would be great. That would be a great way to have the kids right there and have them share with the planting and everything.
Yeah, I love that idea. Yeah, I live like a block away from Winans, and I've always really thought that I want to get some more trees on Winans playground.
Yeah.
But wherever, I mean, yeah, I think anywhere in the schools. So I like the idea. And the school properties those are still like technically owned by the city, right?
We did it at the school one year, so.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking for the grant application, I'm saying like in a park or other location owned by the city of Livingston.
Right.
You can check the cadastral. I think the school might own their own property, but you could check the cadastral, okay. Marshall.
Or maybe I could just even add in the grant application, like at a school or something.
Or the boulevard's at the school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So Sarah's gonna contact schools for school. So it's 12:45. I feel like that might be enough to sort of get the ball rolling with the planning.
Yep.
For Arbor Day.
Yeah, I'll just know. So you said the 29th of April. So just time frame, and then where we think it's going to be, which sounds like it's something that is more involved.
Yeah. So I guess yeah, maybe others have input on this, but I would just say like, yeah, I'd throw out the 29th and say maybe like midday, but could be flexible. And then you could say like, yeah, I would even just like, we can I'm just trying to anticipate. Yeah, I mean, so if the board planted it at a tree a few years ago, then it seemed like there wasn't a problem with that. So it seems like offering the tree, having Sarah potentially offer a tree to the school, like there wouldn't be any issues with that.
We just need to make sure that it's on city property.
Right.
Yeah, I think.
Not sure how we did that a few years ago. If it's not school property,
Yeah.
but they were.
Hey, Melissa, do you have any? So one other piece of this, I know in my sort of freewheeling tree board, my more freewheeling tree board days of just like contacting people and sort of trying to figure out like who wanted trees. So I talked to the old maintenance manager for the school district, Derek Stringer, before he left. And, you know, it was basically like, hey, you know, the tree board, like we're trying to connect with people around the community. Like, can we get, is there a way we could like, yeah, apply for a grant to get trees for the schools? And he was basically like, well, I would love to have trees, but like the maintenance is a challenge, so I would turn them down. And then when I sort of like pushed on that a little bit, it's like this whole like question exploded of like, oh, well, you know, you're a city board and there's like the school board, and then there's like, you know, it's not public works maintaining the trees, it's like the school people. So do you have any sense of how we would navigate that? I guess this is a huge question for this. I really.
Yeah. So when it comes to the day-to-day operations of the city, that's executive branch. So when it comes to like, you know, when it comes to how do the schools manage their property, that's not city. And when it comes to how does the city manage their property, that's an executive branch function. So if we're talking about planting on city property, I would want to go through the city manager. And I put this in that email, Marshall, that I included you on. This is one reason I'd want to find out from city staff if there's any priority areas from trees, since Public Works has been working on trees. I'm curious if any of those are city trees. And I know there's probably, you know, the city staff would know this, not the city commission, in terms of which trees are needing to be replaced or what the long-term plans are on city property. And also Parks and Trails might have some of that information, I'm guessing. So that's why I'd want to go through the avenues to find out where are we needing to invest trees if we're talking about city property, so that we can make sure that they're in the right place and so that we can make sure we have the staff to maintain them, like you said. And that's, again, that would not be a commission decision. That would have to go through the city manager, and then he would take it to the appropriate department heads so that the staff could answer those questions. And I know it just takes a while, but it's the appropriate avenue, yeah, to keep us all in our correct lanes.
All right.
But I guess that's all stuff that we could, you know, we could easily talk to Michael about that.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be a problem to ask him those questions.
All right. Well, how's this? So it seems reasonable to suppose that the city could donate the trees secured by this grant and Public Works labor to planting a tree on school property if they were amenable to it. So how about, Sarah, you could just ask, you could just ask if they're interested in having a tree on their school property.
You want me to reach out to a couple of the schools and ask if they're interested?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and a few years ago, we also planted trees at the library. Is that city property?
I think that the library is, you have to talk to Mitch, but I think that the library property sometimes is a little bit different just because of way libraries work, just like schools. They're sort of their own entity, but sometimes there's overlap between city and county, but you could ask the library director, he'll know.
Yeah. So I guess it's not really like we're asking if the school wants a tree. It's like asking if they're interested in having a tree or something, you know. And then we would yeah, like if we meet with Michael, then I think that'd be a great question. I remember like Andy Mitchell talking about how there should be like an MOU between the city and the schools for trees or something.
That's a great way to approach it.
So I think at least like having some little like foot in the door, like acknowledging that the schools might be interested in having trees, that would help to get the ball rolling with that. And maybe this year it will end up being in a park or whatever. Yeah.
So sorry to be missing all that. The city, I mean, the school is its own local governing body, and Shannon Piccolo is their attorney. I'm sure she'd probably love to draw up a piece of paper like that if that's what we want to do. I can't imagine the school disagreeing, but I think it is a very good idea to get it in writing.
Okay.
And just one other, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Erica.
One other thing to throw out there, if for whatever reason the grant would not be able to be used to support planting trees on school property, we've been grappling with that thought as well. Like initially with the tree fund, we thought, okay, we're going to put half of these trees in public parks, but as you've alluded to, we've kind of stumbled upon, there's, you know, so many considerations, and if the water's not in place, and does the city want the trees there? And, you know, so there's a lot of issues with that. But if there's, I think, you know, being able to use this funding to plant trees at schools, if the school's amenable and that grant for whatever reason can't be used for that, I think that would be a really great use of the funding from the tree fund.
Great. All right, cool. So does anybody have anything else on starting a plan for Arbor Day event?
No, I think that sounds great. And Marshall, when you meet with the city manager, maybe you can bring up these issues and see how we should approach it from that meeting. You know, see what you can find out from that meeting, so we can know how to move forward with it.
Okay. All right, cool. So that's really it for today. I had put as this other item of new business, the open officer position. So it's, you know, new year, we've got a new commissioner. We haven't had a vice chair since Deb left like a year ago. And I've kind of brought that up a couple times. So I think, yeah, we have two people who are gone today. So maybe today is not the best day to get into that. And then Lisa, if you're going to reapply and you want to keep doing the secretary role, or if you want to open that up to anybody else. So maybe we could just think on that stuff and talk about it at the next meeting.
Okay.
All right, we don't, Erica, do you have any public comment?
No, thanks.
Okay, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and then are there any board comments? I guess one thing to kick it off, I was curious if anybody attended the board training. I logged in over Zoom for the first like 2 hours, and I couldn't see from the camera view like if anybody else was there. So
yeah, I'm happy to respond to that. I was there for the first couple hours. I had to leave for work, but there were some changes to the equipment, and so we had some real issues with having the quality be good. And it's something that I've already been talking to the city manager about, how we can get some better quality board training. Not the quality of the board training, excuse me, the recording, the recording quality. The training was excellent if you could hear it, but if you couldn't hear it, it wasn't very helpful. So we are going to be working as a commission, I believe, in the future in the city staff to offer more of those and figure out how to make them more accessible. So I apologize on behalf of the city that was not as wonderful as we hoped it would be.
I don't think I have any other comments. Anybody else?
I look forward to meeting Dan. I don't think I've met you yet, Dan. So I'm Melissa and I'm on the commission and I'm looking forward to meeting you sometime.
Yeah, Dan, is your audio working? Can you if you unmute, can you introduce yourself? All right. Okay. Cool, thanks. Yeah, I guess are these meeting times working okay for people? The third Thursday of the month at noon?
Mm-hmm. Yes, works for me.
Okay.
Maureen said that she wasn't available today. She was sick.
Yeah,
so
he had a medical appointment, so.
Okay. Okay, do we still have an open seat then? We have, do we still have an open seat that we could still apply for new members with Sarah, Lisa, Marshall?
Yeah, I think with our bylaws, we're a ways from our cap of like 9 people. Or something.
Okay, so maybe we could, maybe with the new year, we could ask the city to advertise again for the position. So I think we have some great momentum going here, and I'm really glad that Melissa is on board as our liaison. So I want to thank you, Melissa, and I'm excited to meet Dan as well, the new public works guy. So great, thanks everybody.
All right. Well, unless anybody has anything else, I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All right, this is Marshall voting yes.
Sarah voting yes.
Lisa, yes.
Laurel, yes.
The next meeting should be February 17th.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in February.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.